How do we build good financial habits? Much of James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, is devoted to building good habits of all kinds. Let's narrow down his work on how to build good financial habits. We're in the middle of a little mini-series on financial habits. We looked last week at how habits are made, and we looked at the habit loop, which is, again, if you remember, that you first have a cue for a habit, and then there's a craving to do the habit, then there's response, you actually partake in the habit, and then there's reward, something that reinforces the habit and makes you want to do it again and again. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, go back and listen to that one first, as this is the middle episode in this 3-part mini-series. Today we're going to look at how to build good habits, exploring more on the work of James Clear in his book, Atomic Habits. And next week we'll look at how to break bad habits. So to build good financial habits, we can leverage the 4 laws of behavior change. 1, make it obvious. 2, make it attractive. 3, make it easy. And 4, make it satisfying. If we're trying to build good financial habits, we can do any or all of these 4 laws, and we can build a good financial habit. We'll look at each, but first we should expand on the difference between habits and automations. So financial habits versus financial automations. We can make many powerful and good financial habits, which can propel us to financial success. But perhaps the most robust phenomenon is automation. Habits are actions you repeatedly do, but they are actions you must do. If you do not do them, they don't get done. Duh. Right? If you have a daily Starbucks drink habit, it's only a habit because you physically go to Starbucks, swipe your card, and receive a drink. It may feel automatic, but it's still something you must, at least somewhat consciously, do. Automations happen in the background, automatically. They are something that you choose to do once, but then happen repeatedly without your involvement. When you used to receive a physical paycheck, perhaps you had a habit of stopping at the bank on your way home from work to deposit the check. It was a habit, something you did every paycheck, every payday. But if you have direct deposit, you only need to set that up once. Then every future payment will be deposited directly into your account automatically. You should automate all positive financial activity that you can. Any positive financial action that can be automated should be automated. Don't leave good financial decisions to be made every time through a habit if the decision can be made once and then automated. You should not have a Roth IRA contribution habit. Set up automatic contributions. If you're paying off debt, that should be automatic. Your automatic payment that you must make every month on your loan or on your credit card or whatever it is should not just be the minimum amount. And then also you're trying to create a habit of paying extra manually. Set up your automatic payment to include the extra payment. So automate all positive financial activity that you can and habituate the positive financial activity you can't. Right? If you can't automate it, then you should habituate it. There are some excellent financial actions you can't automate. These are the ones you want to make into habits. Suppose you want to budget. You don't want a budget, you want to budget. You want to know where your money is going and control the flow. There are aspects of budgeting that you can automate, certainly, but a portion of budgeting must be done manually. You must set your spending targets and track your incomes and outflows to match. Using the 4 laws, let's explore how to turn budgeting into a good financial habit. You don't need to use all the laws to make good financial habits. Any one of them will help you create a sound financial habit. But the more of them you can use in any one habit, the better it will stick. Let's explore habituating budgeting with the 4 laws. So good financial habits law, number 1, make it obvious. Do you have any bad eating habits that occur only because you see the food? I am sometimes guilty of keeping M&Ms in my desk drawer. And when I do, every time I open the drawer to get something else out, I see the M&Ms and I grab a couple. It becomes easy to create a habit of eating M&Ms at work merely because they're obvious. I wasn't thinking about M&Ms. I was thinking about taxes, investments, client communication, or a podcast idea. Anything but M&Ms. But then I see them, they're obvious, and I eat them. I'm eating peanut butter M&Ms right now. When things are obvious, we do them. And when they're not, we don't. Budgeting is not an obvious concept. We don't open up the pantry and see a budget. We need to make it obvious. One of the best ways we can do that is through something called habit stacking. So we can make things obvious with habit stacking. We already have many habits in life, right? If you want to start a new one, an easy way to do that is to pair the new habit with an existing habit. The formula is when this, then that. When I do this, then I will do that. Part of budgeting is setting up the initial budget. Is there a monthly habit you already do that you can pair creating a budget with? When I set up my monthly calendar, I will also set up my monthly budget. Like that. The other part of budgeting is tracking your transactions throughout the month to ensure you're on track and not overspending. And this should be done no more than daily and not less than weekly. And that's the part of the habit that we'll focus on. So many of our transactions are automated or an easy card swipe or one-click purchase away. It's not apparent how many transactions we made and how fast they're adding up. So let's make it obvious. You can make your transactions obvious with habit stacking. Tracking your transactions is a critical piece of budgeting. So let's make it obvious. What can you stack it with? As an example, when I have my morning movement, I will categorize my transactions. You already have a toilet time. It's probably daily. And you are probably on your phone, mindlessly scrolling social media in a vain attempt to pass the time. Entertain me, phone! Why not take that toilet time to check transactions? Open up your budgeting app, check your transactions, and categorize them. Done. No more forgetting. It can take 10 to 30 seconds every time you do an existing habit to create a new good one. Habit stacking. There are other ways, too, to make habits obvious. James Clear covers other ways to make it obvious in his book, Atomic Habits, including these ones. 1, fill out a habits scorecard. He invites you to write down all your current habits to become aware of them. Number 2, use implementation intentions. Kind of like the if-then statement we already have. Another one is, I will behavior at time in location. And just being intentional about a habit can make it stick. You can design your environment. Number 3, design your environment. You can make the cues of good habits obvious and visible. I open a drawer, that's a cue to eat M&Ms because I see them. What other things can you do like that? Design your environment, not keeping the M&Ms in a drawer, putting something else in obvious places, right? Design your environment to make it obvious. And then, of course, use habit stacking. After I, current habit, I will, new habit. It's the one we've talked about. One or more of these methods can make your financial habits more prominent and thus more doable. You can read up on all of them by getting the book Atomic Habits, which is one of my few must-read books for everyone. Good financial habit law number 2, make it attractive. Many people find budgeting about as attractive as licking a sweaty armpit. The thought of all those spreadsheets and tracking all those pennies is decidedly unattractive. You will never make a habit stick that you think is unattractive. Some of that is just a mindset shift you can make, and some of it is changeable elements you can influence. And we can do both with budgeting. If you find spreadsheets unattractive, don't use spreadsheets. Let's find a way to make budgeting attractive. And you can make budgeting attractive with YNAB. I use YNAB. It stands for You Need a Budget. You Need a Budget, YNAB. And I have for over 10 years now. It's a phone and web browser app that helps with budgeting. Slow and cumbersome spreadsheets are replaced with a convenient and sleek app that is fun to use. It has a fluid animations and nice screen colors for when I'm on track, and it makes budgeting attractive. Using YNAB is a choice I can make to make budgeting more attractive. And we can make it more attractive by changing our mindset. Many people just have a bad attitude about budgeting because they don't understand it. I'll do a whole separate episode on budgeting some other time, but many people have the wrong view. They think budgeting is restrictive, complicated, and boring. But it's freeing, simple, and exciting to be in control of your money. If you have a bad attitude about a good financial habit, you must first change your mind. Consume content on the positive action. Budgeting, for example. Know what you need to know. Believe it and then act on it. Make it attractive and you will do the financial habit. As long as you hate it, you will never do it. There are people who passionately love every good financial habit out there. If they can love it and find it attractive, so can you. He who walks with the wise grows wise, and a companion of fools suffers harm. If you surround yourself with people and messages that make good financial habits unattractive, you will never do them. And there are other ways that we can make things attractive too, and James Clear covers those in his book. One, you can use temptation bundling, which is you pair an action you want to do with an action that you need to do. You can, number two, you can join a culture where the desired behavior is the normal behavior. We actually just touched on that a little bit, right? If you're in a group of friends that all do and enjoy a certain good financial habit, you will as well. And you can create a motivational ritual. Do something you enjoy immediately before a difficult habit. Explore the book if you want to hear more about all of those. So again, recapping, we're halfway there. Good financial habit law number 1 is to make it obvious. Number 2 is to make it attractive. And now on to number 3, make it easy. Seeking the easy way is not necessarily a bad thing. We are hardwired to seek the path of least resistance. Sometimes that makes us lazy, but sometimes that leads us to create easier ways to do good things. If we want good financial habits, we must make them easy. Manually keeping a budget on paper or even in a spreadsheet is hard. It's hard to keep track of where you spend all your cash so that you can record it in said spreadsheet. If budgeting is hard, you will not do it. Make it easy with an app. There are other apps out there, but I use and endorse You Need a Budget, so that's the only one I will talk about. You can make it easy with YNAB, right? If we're trying to develop the habit, again, you can use this for any financial habits, but if we're trying to develop the habit of budgeting, make it easy by using YNAB. YNAB can automatically connect to your banks and financial institutions to import all your transactions automatically. Remember what we said at the beginning, automate all positive financial activity you can. Don't manually try to record every transaction you and your spouse make. Automate that. YNAB will also automatically categorize any transactions it recognizes. Have another checking account transaction come through from your Quick Trip debit card? YNAB knows that is fuel and will categorize it as such. Have another transaction come through for Whole Foods, automatically categorized as grocery. Now your toilet time is taking 5 seconds to merely just approve the transactions that it has already categorized. And now you only need to tell YNAB if that Amazon transaction was your personal spending money or your spouse's. Easy. Budgeting is easy with YNAB. Now it's a paid service, so pay for it. You will save more time and money using it than by either A, not budgeting, or B, budgeting in a difficult way. Don't be cheap. Spend a little money, get an easy, attractive way to budget. Some other ways to make financial habits easy that are explained in the book is number 1, reduce friction, right? Decrease the number of steps between you and your good habits. Even again, just YNAB automatically importing transactions is an example of reducing friction. There's no friction. It just automatically happens. It's easy, right? Number 2, prime the environment. You can prepare your environment to make future actions easier. Number 3, you can master the decisive moment and optimize the small choices that deliver outsized impact. So maybe there's just a few habits that you can do that make as much of an impact as a lot of other ones. Number 4, use the 2-minute rule. Downscale your habit until they can be done in 2 minutes or less. An example of this that I gave in the book, if I remember, is rather than trying to make a habit of working out, merely make a habit of putting on your workout clothes. Because then, hey, I'm already in my workout clothes, I might as well work out. So the habit is putting on your workout clothes, which you can do in less than 2 minutes, and then you're just automatically going to do the workout. So the habit is not trying to create a 30-minute workout. And then lastly, automate your habits. And we talked about this already, but he says, invest in technology and one-time purchases that lock in future behavior, i.e. YNAB. Invest in that technology. It makes it easier. It locks in your future behavior. And lastly, number 4, good financial habits law. Number 4, make it satisfying. Teeth brushing did not become a worldwide habit until the minty flavor was added. Knowing that your mouth is clear of damaging bacteria was not enough. Fluoride toothpaste that's unflavored has been around for way longer than the toothpaste we know of today, and a lot of people didn't use it. People started brushing their teeth after they got that satisfying, minty fresh feeling at the end. And we must make our good financial habits satisfying as well. You can make budgeting satisfying with YNAB. YNAB does an excellent job of making budgeting satisfying with little animations, quotations, and other things that celebrate your budgeting activity. Are you staying on track? YNAB will display all green. Green like go and greenbacks, baby. As in, you are going to have more moolah if you control your cash flow through budgeting. And that is satisfying. Seeing your savings increasing, your debt going down, and your other budgeting goals getting reached is satisfying. And visually seeing that using YNAB makes it more so. So you can make your financial goals, your financial habits satisfying through different means. There's a few other ways that he talks about it in the book. Number 1, use reinforcement. Give yourself an immediate reward when you complete a habit. Even when I was doing this blog, like I said, I was trying to eat some M&Ms, and instead of just pounding them, I decided I'm going to write a paragraph in the blog and then eat an M&M. And so I give myself an immediate reward for completing the habit of writing and producing weekly podcasts. Number 2, make doing nothing enjoyable. When avoiding a bad habit, you can design it in a way to see the benefits. Number 3, use a habit tracker. You can keep track of your habit streak and try to not break the chain. Don't break the chain. Always keep the habit going no matter what. And just as a side note, I have used a habit tracker. I use the Strides app. I've used it for 5+ years now as a habit tracker. I like it a lot. And number 4, never miss twice. Even when you forget to make a habit, ensure that you get back on track immediately. As soon as you start missing multiple times for your habit, then you start making a bad habit of missing. And so even if you miss, make it up immediately, get right back on it. So, in conclusion, we can all use any or all of the 4 laws to make good financial habits, whether it's budgeting or anything else. And those are, again, 1, make it obvious. 2, make it attractive. 3, make it easy. And 4, make it satisfying. You can learn about all of them in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. You can also download a printable version of all of these habits in a little cheat sheet. And you can get that at atomichabits.com/cheat sheet. Building good financial habits will build your financial success. But what about our bad financial habits? How do we use these laws to fix those? We'll look at next week at how to break bad financial habits here on the Retirement Mentorship Podcast. If you enjoyed that, you would love being part of our free membership community. It's called Retire Membership, and it has a host of benefits, all for free. For example, you can always buy my book, 3D Retirement Income, on Amazon. But if you join us at Retire Membership, we will send you either a hard copy or paperback for free, provide the ebook and the audiobook so that you can listen to it if you don't have time to read it. In addition to that, we'll also provide you with a bunch of content that you can't get anywhere else. For example, we have our quarterly Retire Mentorship magazine, which comes out quarterly and has no ads whatsoever. It's just timely content to help you stay the course. We also have workbooks for our free online workshop to help you get the most out of those, flowcharts to help you make better decisions, and a weekly email to provide timely content that you can unsubscribe from at any time. We never ask for any payment information, and we never share your information with anyone else. We just want to provide timely content and help you stay the course to retire successfully and stay successfully retired. There's no reason to wait, so join us now at retiremembership.com, where you can click in the link in the description and it'll go right there. We can't wait to see you in the community. Cheers. This podcast is educational only and is not investment, tax, or legal advice.